My name's Richard Talbot. Been in IT for 27 years. Very simply, I love what I do. I like to look at things from different angles. We like to understand and get to know our customers in a way that we match the technology to their requirements fully, and not just to solve an immediate problem, but journey with them, creating a roadmap of technologies that match their trajectory and strategy. Culture for me is very important in a business. In fact, it's the glue that seals the deal for us internally as a team, and as well as the product and service we give to customers.
The best compliment you've got from a client. Okay, before we get into this conversation, I know we're itching, but I wanted to give the two teams that make this podcast happen a quick shout out. Firstly, my team from GoFourIT Creative. You guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. We produce high quality, high end podcasts just like this one and a few others that you've seen floating around on the internet. Secondly, we are in Tim Africa Studios. Tim Africa looks after the publishing, the performance marketing, and the distribution of this show and the content. So thank you to you guys for making this happen. I am also very proud to say that GoFourIT Creative and Tim Africa have strategically partnered to offer you, the listeners, and to people who want to create content just like this, a full house end-to-end podcast solution. Everything from strategy to production to post-production, publishing and performance marketing. We take care of it all. So if you want to start making meaningful content and content that connects with an audience and builds trust, give us a shout and let's start making something together. Let's get back to this episode. What do you think drives you to do that?
For me, my primary reason is my family, my wife and my two girls. We've all got our own stories. I've got an interesting story of growing up and family dynamic, and my goal from the outset with Kirst is together in partnership has been to create a good life for our girls, a balanced life. And funny enough, although we're trying to make it balanced for them, it means that there's a bit of unbalance for me at times. But certainly my primary drive is my family. My secondary drive is my staff and my clients. I probably put them in one category because I see them as one community, my staff and my clients.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't see them as separate, and I see us as a whole ecosystem that works together. But and then obviously my beliefs in Christianity and doing my work with intention and integrity. For me, I think I've noticed, and maybe you'd agree, but the world does seem to be losing its focus in terms of, certainly in business. I think people can be more out for themselves rather than for each other. And every day I'm reminding myself that this is not just for me. It's for my family. It's for my community, my work community. So I don't take it lightly, but those are the reasons that keep me getting up every day and moving ahead. And it's a privilege to see GoFourIT grow. And we've just recently paid bonuses, and that for me is something that we weren't able to do in prior years to the level that we are now. And I'm just grateful that we get to do that. And I see us all as a community that needs to work together. And I'll do everything in my power to keep that fueled. And certainly I don't want to be at the center of that. It's about creating a balance and a culture where everyone carries something.
I love what you said there about you having your clients and staff in the same category, because it's true. As even in my journey as a business owner, we're growing a small team now,
Yeah.
Not quite at your level yet, but maybe we will. But
I have no doubt.
I don't see my staff as working for me. Like, we're a team and we service our clients together. But as a business owner, and I don't know if you agree with this, but we actually work for our employees. Like, we do.
Yeah. I mean,
Unpack that a little.
That's the amazing thing about running a business is until you run a business and you've had staff, do you fully understand the weight of it? I think for me, and that's something I definitely did not take lightly. I mean, and praise the Lord, through COVID, we were able to pay staff. I mean, there was 1 month where everyone hit the brakes and we had to call on tours to save the day, as it were. That was only for 1 or 2 months, and the rest of the time we were able to pay. And I took it. It was hard to actually be in a position where you thought, oh, flip, we may not be able to pay staff this month. But I think just to enlighten that thought is that before I was an employee, and I worked for various employers, and I think a lot of people can go down this way of thinking where you think, hey, it's easy when you're at the top. You know, everything just works out, and you've got the money, and you've got you've got time. And I'll probably say that that's mostly not true. I mean, I've had less time being an employer than I've ever had. And I think you've got to have a love for what you do, and you've got to have a love for people.
Yeah, love for people is a big one.
Love for people, yeah. and you've got to have a passion for solving problems. You know, whether it be for customers, for staff, for yourself, and when it comes to challenges like that. But I think, we it's certainly a journey less taken. You know, often I think business owners can think, well, also why aren't staff giving as much as the employers are giving? And I think we've got to remind ourselves that they're not the employers. Mm-hmm. But on the same token, create a culture where everyone benefits, i.e. bonuses and other things, and do what you can to make them feel like they have power to make a change. Because if they're showing up just for an 8 to 5 job, they don't have passion for what they're doing, you know that we all suffer. Yeah. And the challenge is to get to find those golden nuggets in each person and try and bring them out. And I think it's also interesting seeing how we have different staff and people are different. How do you get them to work as a team? So, yeah, I mean, I know I've digressed with my answer there a little bit, but we do have a lot to pull together when you're an employer. And for me, I'd say the people is the most important.
We're in the people's business.
Exactly.
And we happen to provide a solution in some way or form, whether it's video production or IT solutions or massage therapy or whatever it is.
We have no business without people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And no product.
Yeah. 100%. So let's take a step back to life before business. So looking back at your life, has there ever been, and we'll see where we connect the dots here, but has there ever been a time in your life where you have felt unsupported and not seen as a human, whether it's in employment or something else? Is there a moment, or can you think of a moment where you felt that, where you felt unsupported, unseen?
How much time do we have?
We'll edit it down.
Look, I would say that there's certainly been times where I isolated and alone and desperate. I think in business, I think perspective is key, because it's those times that create character. You know, as much as I hated going through those dark places and lonely places, I know that those are the times that produced greatness in me. One story that jumps to mind, and I'm not sure how many people know this, but I never wanted to run a business. I was top of my game, best technician, engineer. I could solve anything. I loved solving anything and everything, and it got presented to me as an option when I reached the ceiling at my previous employer to journey with another auditing firm to start an IT business, with the intention of them running the business and me bringing the brains, as it were, to the technology part of it. And long story short, this business, GoFourIT, within 3 years was handed to me. You know, we had made a significant loss, and that actually was the dark time, because it was not my doing. I had not made the decisions which incurred massive cost loss. And I think that was interesting, because even though I was director, other directors had made that choice, which I had to carry. And I learned a very valuable lesson in terms of who you partner with, and what decisions are made. But I carried that. And to give you a very, very simple summary, there was a time where I couldn't draw a salary for 6 months, and I lived very, very...
Is frugal a good word?
Frugally.
Frugally.
I remember eating peanut butter sandwiches for 6 months. But you know, it's funny now, but at the time it was so tough, because I had to carry a result of other people's decisions. But the silver lining is I ended up taking on that debt, and the business was transferred to me. And I had a decision to make, and the decision was, do I jump ship, or do I see value, and do I believe enough in myself to turn this around? And I went with the latter, and I journeyed, and GoFourIT is what it is today, purely because I've gone through dark times. I appreciate the challenges of business, and I think what got me through is my persistence to not give up. And, you know, although I had never thought owning a business 100% myself would be something I would have enjoyed, I've really learned to enjoy running business. I've learned to enjoy leading people. As much as I'm an introvert, I realize there's different leadership styles. You know, you got to find what works for you. You know, I've had mentors in my life, and they're certainly different to me. And I think that's an example of one of the darkest times in terms of business, but also of the what persistence can bring, you know, and belief can bring if you don't give up. In my personal life, yes, there's been absolutely times where I've been on my own and alone. But I never thought I'd marry the beautiful person that I've married in Kirst, and the 2 girls that I have today. And dark times, I think, are necessary in life.
I agree.
You know, I don't look down on it. I see it. I've kind of got to the point where I'm like, okay, there's a dark time coming. What is the fruit of this going to be at the end of this? You know, I don't have the same anxiety. anymore. And I don't have that expectation that life's going to be a bed of roses, because it's messy. But we just got to make sure we don't sacrifice our values and morals in terms of who we are, no matter what comes our way.
And in those dark moments, so both in business and personally, did you ever question the value that you bring to the world, or like maybe the direction you're going? Did you ever have those moments like, what am I doing? Like, let's just, as you said, jump ship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I did question, and I think that's just our human fragility as humans. And based on our upbringings and the filters we've developed over the years, we get to process in certain ways. I absolutely did struggle with my value. And what's been great though is I've had a community around me in clients specifically that have always been so generous and quick to show their gratitude for what I've done in the past for them. And I think it's so easy with experience. You forget what you've learned because it becomes second nature until you're in a place where someone actually can use that. Are you reminded how much you've actually learned? I mean, we're constantly learning.
Okay, guys, 10 seconds of your time. Please like, share, and subscribe to this show on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Doing this will help the show grow and more people will discover our amazing stories. Back to today's episode. Did you partnered up with some other people to start a business, or were you drawn into GoFourIT?
I had an opportunity to do a practical at Global Z Data, and I jumped at the opportunity. I was tired of studying, and I wanted to get practical. And within a few months, I think it was 3 or 4 months, they said to me, "Hey, Rich, listen, we really want to employ you. Would you consider staying?" And at that time, that was 98. It was 98. At that time, there was a lot of aggression at the Natal Technicon with, I don't know if you remember the days, a lot of fighting and stoning of cars, and it was quite an interesting time. And I took the opportunity, I jumped at it. I also like to be independent. I didn't want to rely on my folks and burden them with the costs. And long story short, I was there for 3 years, and then I got offered directorship as well. So I journeyed with them for 11 years. And it was really amazing to see how they grew from a shop front to a household name. Global Z's done some really good stuff. I used to work with Craig Thiessen, who founded the business. Amazing guy. I would say one of the mentors and the models that I've used in my own leadership styles. And Craig Simmons, also a really great guy. And what I noticed with them too is they love people. And they looked after the staff, and they stood up for the staff when there were challenges with situations. But I was there for 11 years. I got to the 11 years, and I had a personal situation, and I thought, I've been here long enough. There's nowhere more to go. And this opportunity came up at an auditing firm to start GoFourIT with the idea of solving their problems, because they had big problems on their technology stack. So we started GoFourIT, solved their problems, and now we had a business. Now we had to look for clients. And we we were amazed at how quickly we managed to build GoFourIT into a business that was breaking even in a very short space of time. That's how I ended up with the business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at what point on the journey did you realize and get clarity on what you want GoFourIT to be?
That was simple for me.
Yes.
Okay. So in my journey at Global Z, being with clients, I was always put into situations solving issues and normally challenges that were not being solved very quickly, and then I'd be called in to help. And often when we'd take over a customer from a previous provider, the key thing that stood out for me is how bad the advice was that they were given, and how with the right advice we can get them going very quickly. I mean, a classic story for me, and probably the most amazing one for me, was I walked into a logistics company and they had ongoing issues. Previous IT company had sold them back then a server for 70,000 Rand, which was a big number then. And they still had issues. I walked in there, did a mini audit, and I found that the source of the issues was a 10 megabit switch back in the day when you still had 10 megabit, and replaced it with a gigabit switch, and was a fraction of the cost. And it just showed me how, number one, there's a lack of real skill in every industry. It's not just IT, but then also a lack of integrity. Rather than spending the time and effort to solve the problem, just make a sale. And we're not about making sales. We're about solving problems. I've always viewed it as sales would come, but it need not be the focus. The focus needs to be the solution.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have found that building a business has more to do with, this has been my journey. It's a process of self-discovery and learning about myself, taking on responsibility of myself so that I can pitch up and be the best person I can be, to my family, to myself, and to our clients and to my employees. I've had to, and still am, working and becoming a better leader, because I'm by no means like a great leader in my opinion, but what's that journey like been for you? What have you had to become in order to be where you guys are at now?
So I think leadership is an ongoing journey. I don't think we really ever arrive. But I would say that it's a series of choices. For me in life, you hit crossroads constantly through life, and it's about the choices you make. But I would say back to difficulties in general, facing those giants. For me, the initial giant was being in meetings with clients, boardroom meetings. Now I enjoy it. I love it. But it's that whole thing of being brave and courageous and pushing through the struggles that, that make us want to run the other way. So not giving up, facing those giants, and standing up for what's right. People, in terms of leadership, I think if you really understand leadership, for me anyway, it's about leading. It's not about commanding. So leading by example, and taking the hard knocks, making those difficult calls with the customers when, on behalf of your staff, when the staff have made decisions to get into that situation, but not making them feel isolated, helping everyone through a situation.
Do you feel like you becoming the leader that you once needed? Do you feel like you, even on a business level, you're providing a solution? So you're not just providing IT solutions. Do you feel like GoFourIT is providing, let's say, stuff, because it's more than IT solutions. Do you feel like you're providing things to your clients and to your employees that you once needed and you once lacked?
That is such a good way to put it. Absolutely. Yeah. I guess my goal is, in terms of leadership, is to be the leader that I would have liked to lead me. You know, if I look at, and it's again taking from experience, I've been in situations where leaders have abused power and really don't care for the people. And I think you can identify we really don't have that issue at GoFourIT. You know, we really do want what's best for the community, clients and staff. But yes, I do think my goal is to be a better human, not just be a leader in the IT space, but to be a leader in terms of the type of human I feel this world needs. Yeah. You know, and I absolutely am not fooled by the fact that I am human and I'm limited, am not perfect, and have limitations. But I do feel like there's a very big sense of old school in me where I just believe in right versus wrong, and treating people with respect, really listening to, I think I've developed a skill to listen, and pause. You know, for me, the world is all about fast pace, everything, you know, and we can lose the humanness in that if we don't slow down enough. So the IT by humans for me has got so many meanings because we don't want to lose that. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm hoping I'm becoming the leader that I once wish I had. Yeah,
that's awesome. So, and for me to answer your question, I think you are a phenomenal leader, and I think to a large degree you are fulfilling the leader role that you needed and wanted when in the younger version of yourself. So, well done. Yeah, it's amazing. And so, what's the real problem that GoFourIT is solving? Because it's not, it is, and we've been through this in the brand strategy also. Yeah. So, for context, we've done a whole brand strategy with GoFourIT, and we worked through that. And IT solutions is not really the solution that GoFourIT is solving. What in your words is the solution that GoFourIT brings to the world?
Partnering with businesses to remove the entire IT anxiety headache, so that they literally have full trust in the technology and the services we provide, that they don't need to worry about that, not spend any energy on that at all, and focus on what they need to do and their product and what they bring to the table. But we do that in a way that shows that, in a caring way, you know, and in a way that doesn't promote that anxiety, which I see a lot. You know, it is. I mean, if you look at AI and all these things that are now top of the list, there's a lot we don't know, you know, and it's my job to make sure that I know enough to empower my customer.
So would you say the real solution that you guys are providing is showing that you genuinely care for the human in front of you, and you transacting on a human-to-human level?
Yes, 100%. Okay. IT by humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in all our strategies, we've come back to the same word: we care. Yeah. And we really do. And, you know, we've if I look at my client base, I can't, no one jumps to mind as a problem child, you know. We just, you know, we've we've walked a journey with most of those customers to the point where they appreciate that we are human as well, and we'll prioritize their needs appropriately. We can't be available to everyone all the time, but I think we've shown enough in that we care. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Yeah. And I've learned a lot from you in that space in the business world, where and the talks we've had also. It's just, how do we practically roll out and show the world that we actually genuinely care? That is, your client our clients aren't just transactions.
No,
we're dealing with humans here, and for you, we care to show you that we want to be involved in your business operations. We want to help you scale. We genuinely care and want to reduce the anxiety. And for us, it'll be, at Cut Creative, we're saying we want to help you be known. We want to help you feel seen, heard, and understood. And how do we take that to the marketplace? And where I believe, this is my belief, is that when we do business well, we are providing solutions to the world that are it's an extension of a struggle that we've had personally in our own lives.
That's becoming very clear in this conversation.
Yeah. And, example for you, I think maybe there's been a whole lot of time in your life that you have not felt cared for, and seen and treated as a human.
Yes.
And that is exactly what you're doing through GoFourIT. It's not just, it comes in the vehicle of a IT company.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, even if you weren't doing IT, I believe that you would, if you were selling ice cream, you'll sell the best damn ice cream ever, because, and the customer experience is going to be amazing because you actually care for the person, not just the ice cream or the IT solution. Yeah. So it's been, that's kind of how I was wanting to direct the conversation and see. That's why I said we'll join the dots later, but our businesses are an extension of us. And that is one of the reasons why I believe small business is so powerful, is because we can provide solutions to the world around us which go beyond just the practical outworking or the vehicle of it, and reaching out to the world, a very now more and more computerized AI-based world where transactions are in the blockchain, or it's EFT, there's no humans involved. And small businesses have the opportunity to pitch up as human beings and deal with humans and not just numbers, not just a call center, not just I agree. Yeah. And I can see that through GoFourIT and the journey that we've done.
Thank you.
So that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Do you resonate with that?
I absolutely do. Yeah. And I think just on that, the caring for me is the key word. And for me, when I interact with the customer, I find that caring can come across as, obviously you got to balance the product and often when it comes down, if I just talk business, when it comes down to price, I've now got to the point where if I'm showing that I'm caring, I'm going to give you the best solution. And if the price is not right, then we work backwards. But I don't do it the other way around based on the fear of cost. I'd rather do what's right. I think caring there's so many facets to that. I agree with you 100%.
That's awesome. Well, I got 3 more questions for you that we're going to go through.
Shoot.
What does success look like for you in a way that's deeper than just revenue and numbers?
Success for me, and I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards that. Success for me is, I would say, having a solid reputation. I've always valued, integrity and things like that. I'd never want to compromise on that. But then I'd say, maybe it's an age thing too, but having success for me is not necessarily money, but time. So having time to have real conversations with people and spend time with the people you love.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, time is a very important thing. Time is a non-renewable resource.
And it's limited,
Yeah. And if we had more than 24 hours in a day, that would be great. Another conversation for another day. So what is something that you're building now that you hope your daughters will be proud of?
I would say culture.
Yeah.
The culture that we've worked really hard at for the last few years. I would hope that they would see value in culture and the way we are humans with each other, our humanness. I want my girls to be balanced and not remove the challenges of life, but to help them through the challenges of life.
That's awesome. Okay, so here's a slightly more personal one. That we haven't been very personal this session, but what is something you're still learning to accept about yourself, even now?
Wow. I believe God designed me created me in a certain way. And I think there's from my childhood traumas, probably that I can very easily pivot to performance-based efforts. In other words, I find it very easy to work hard, and maybe that's is a result of my childhood upbringing and wanting to prove myself. And even though I know that I do have value to bring, I guess learning to make sure that I'm not burning out for the sake of performance is probably one of the challenges that I am aware of.
That's awesome.
But I am aware of it, and I'll do my best on that.
Yeah, that's our biggest project is ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also with wisdom and age, I realize that you're never going to arrive, and you're never going to get to a point where you can put the brakes on in terms of self-development. And I'll continue to develop myself, God willing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So for someone out there in Durban who is at the early stages of starting a business or in their business, and they in that dark place, maybe they're trying to build something small and meaningful, what would your one piece of advice be for them?
Don't give up. Just know that there's many, many, many people that have gone before you that have had a multitude of no's, but just needed one yes. And when they got that yes, things changed. Don't give up until you get the yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Rich, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it.
It's been really awesome partnering with you through the years in our personal lives as well as in business, and the integral part of my business that you've been a part of too. So
it's a pleasure.
It's been a huge honor.
Yeah, and all the best.
Yeah, thank you. And you, I'm excited to see where GoFourIT is going.
Thank you, bro.